So welcome everybody to the Sweet Spot Global Leadership Summit, where we are talking all week about how visionary organizations and their leaders can thrive from the inside out. And I'm super excited to be welcoming back for the second time, the fabulous Kristie Kennedy. Welcome, so great to have you here today.
Hey, it's so good to be here, Sarah.
So I just wanted to introduce you all to Kristie. So I'll read her bio before we get started on her awesome topic of the Powerhouse mindset. So Kristie Kennedy is the image confidence expert. She's also a TEDx audacious leadership keynote speaker and the authentic lifestyle author, which all sounds juicy. I think I have to go find your TEDx talk. Check that out later. As the owner of Queenfidence Global Image Consulting, Kristie's electrifying inspirational gift empowers visionaries with confidence and clarity keys to find their voice, free their voice, and look fabulous using their voice. I love that. And she specializes in 4 areas of peak performance: mindset mastery, massive momentum, magnetic messaging, and potential maximization. As a certified emotional resilience trainer, she builds powerhouse mindsets equipped for success, which is great alignment with what we're doing here in the summit. So I can't wait to hear about your topic a bit more. So Kristie's evocative teaching style elevates your self-perception from stuck to unstoppable, invisible to invincible, and timid to tenacious, which just reading that just made me go, wow, the language in that is just fabulous. And her bodacious belief is a testament that you can shift from mediocrity to magnificence, one daring step at a time. So Kristie, thank you for being here again. For those of you that were here for our last summit, Kristie was a speaker there. So I'm super excited that you've come back for another summit with me. So I'd love to hear all about your topic today of a powerhouse mindset and how that's important for organizations and leaders so that they can be thriving in everything they do.
Absolutely. So good to be here. And I was getting excited just listening to you read my words.
It's great and very inspirational for sure.
Thank you. That is my life in a nutshell. I do want to inspire before I expire. And so when we talk about the powerhouse mindset, I remember, Sarah, when I was younger and I was extremely timid. And what the number one change was, it was my mind. It was absolutely my mindset. And that's when I started working on my mind. I remember my first high-end mentor, she said, work on your mind like it's a full-time job. And I took her seriously. And I've mentioned before that I'm surrounded by 21 vision boards, 6 vision books, but I had to combat all the thoughts that were preventing me from living a life of liberty, living my fullest life, living on purpose, living bold and audaciously, living free from fear. But it all starts with a thought.
Absolutely. I found that too, that things can be hard or they can be easy. And it's the things that don't change. It's how we shift internally can really make a difference. So I'm really curious to hear about how that piece around that kind of that self-awareness, the confidence, the fears, all of that. So I don't know where you want to start on those topics today.
You know, one of the number one questions I'm asked is, how do you have so much energy? How have you created this life, on your own terms? One of my vision boards I have, play by the rules, you write. And that's where I started. I asked myself the question, who am I? Oftentimes when I'm in coaching sessions, I ask women, who is Sarah? And I'll get a blank stare. They don't know, they're so disconnected from themselves. And so where do we start? We have to start with that introspection, asking ourselves the hard questions, asking ourselves those uncomfortable questions, sitting with the ugly cry. I can't tell you how many clients tell me, I don't like being alone. I don't want to sit alone. We are so addicted to our phones. And you have all these individuals with a megaphone sharing what their beliefs are, but you haven't taken time to solidify and fortify your own beliefs. And so when you get into this crowded marketplace, what happens? They shrink to fit. They are afraid to share their own voice, their own opinions that are different. And we know we're in a council culture. So say something that's contrary to the masses, oh my, they're coming for you. But that's what's going to be required. You need to know who you are, what you believe, what you stand for. So when you do get presented with an opportunity to stand on any platform, you can stand flat-footed and own your beliefs.
Absolutely. I totally agree there. I'm wondering if you can kind of talk about how to find that. I know for me, that's been, like you described, kind of unplugging perhaps from all of the information coming in. I found for me it's being quiet and kind of having that time to reflect, or having that self relationship time. But I'd love to hear what your recommendations are, what you find works best for you.
I believe it's so important that we fall in love with ourselves so we can fall in love
Mm.
with our lives, and then we fall in love with our purpose and why we're here. Because I believe at the highest state, Sarah, it's love, it's compassion.
Mm.
How can you give away love if you haven't first been the recipient of your own love? You think about
Mm.
women, we berate ourselves, we talk down to ourselves, we're unkind to ourselves. Let us gain 5 pounds. I've been there. You gain 5 pounds and now all of a sudden you're not beautiful anymore. What is that? We're in
Mm.
this the society that constantly tells us we need to be perfect. There is no such thing. And I started with the affirmation, imperfection is my superpower, because I have
Oh.
perfectionist tendencies. I used to be the chief procrastinator, but perfectionism and procrastination, I describe them like the fraternal twins. They're very close and similar, but they're not the same, but at the root, it's fear.
Right.
And then I began to address my fears. Now, I had fear so bad. I'm a speaker and a singer, so I'm a performer. I'm
I didn't know that
right
about you.
now.
Yes, I know you're
I've
a
had a
speaker.
full, I have
Yeah.
a full week. And so it's not just articulating a thought, a message, but it comes with charisma, it comes with stage presence, it comes with so many more things. And if you're enclosed within yourself and in a prison of fear, it's going to be hard for you to be able to be free and allow people to experience your essence. And so I had to confront fear. And that's when we start doing that deeper work. What am I really afraid of? Oh, I'm afraid that they're
Yes.
going to see the scar. But what if I embrace the scar? What if I embrace the pain first? Then I would no longer be afraid if Sarah receives me or not, if she knows about this dirty little secret or this scar, right? And so you only can do that if you spend time alone with yourself. And the more time alone you spend with yourself, nurturing and healing those wounds that are still open, you won't be as impactful or effective as you could be when you do have the opportunities to speak into someone else's life.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there was a lot of great stuff there. Can you say that affirmation? Was it my imperfections are my superpower?
Yes.
Love it.
Imperfection is
Okay.
my superpower, because the number one thing that holds women back is their imperfection. I hear, well, my teeth are crooked. I wear glasses, whatever the thing was. I remember when I was younger, I had braces and glasses. So now a part of my style is glasses. You take
Love
the thing
it.
and you get your power back.
Yeah, same thing. It's funny. I wore contact lenses from grade 7 till pretty much last year. And then I thought, you know what? I'll wear I've been wearing them all the time, even on videos, even, and it's been fun. So I really appreciate that, that it's not just confidence from the outside, what I'm hearing you describe. I'm hearing this sort of healed, empowered state that you're creating.
Yes. Spot on. It's you liberating yourself from all the thoughts that have been impeding your progress, that are holding you back, that are keeping you stuck. I remember at the end of last year with a cohort of coaches, we were in a mastermind, and the question came up with, how are we living our lives? And one of my peers shared, she loved this quote, was, if you only had 5 minutes left to live, how would you live it? And I really took that to heart. I can play a much bigger game, even though I'm in my mind, I feel like I'm playing full out, but there is still so much more to do and to be and to evolve into. And that's the dangerous thing about success, Sarah, because we can get comfortable with our certain level of success. Oh, I'm good now.
Right.
I'm not on the struggle bus anymore.
Yeah, and that's a nice place to be for sure. But what I'm hearing is there's even more. We can even have even bigger impact. And when we're talking about leaders and organizations, I'm specifically, I think we're connecting to people that have big visions for having a positive difference in the world, whether a nonprofit organization or they have a mission to kind of help others in some way. And so I know we can't do that when we're struggling. So we've kind of identified that already, that sort of self-awareness, looking at what your fears are. What else do you feel is important for people to really be that powerhouse person?
The first thought that came to my mind was anxiety. They're going to have to manage anxiety and stress levels. as you continue to be promoted and you're elevated in your field, the number one thing that I'm seeing is imposter syndrome, fear of making a mistake. And that's where that self-compassion comes in, giving yourself grace and being patient. When we were kids, think about it. We would fumble, we were learning, we were practicing. And that's what's helped me get through perfectionism is everything is a practice, Kristie. You don't come out the gate getting it spot on, doing it right. That's why you get to practice. You think about even speaking. I can speak a whole message in 13 seconds, but that's been 20 years of developing my voice and cultivating and honing. And so when they're dealing with high levels of stress, they're going to have to know how to manage that stress moment by moment. I hear second guessing a lot. I'm second guessing my decisions. A lot of women are indecisive because they don't know if they made the right decision or will they make the right decision. And so there is that internal fear that they're going to have to deal with. This decisions have to be made moment by moment. And so getting comfortable with making a decision is going to be a large part of that piece as well.
Oh, I'm wondering if we can maybe expand on that a little bit, because I agree with you. There's that initial sort of self-reflection piece, but then there's the how do you react to the day-to-day piece that is a whole nother kind of realm of skill set. So that decision piece, so either there is a decision that needs to be made or they've made a decision. How do they become comfortable or confident, or, you know, like you said, that learning piece, maybe is that the secret? I wonder if you can tell us more.
Yes. And this is where reflection comes in. Yeah, I think it's Lisa Nichols. She mentioned at the end of her day, she said, 2 things I did well, 3 things I can improve upon. You know, Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. This is how we grow. This is how we expand. And the other piece to that is when we talk about, we go from reflection, but now we give ourselves grace. I've grown through that moment, but what else do I need? One, I need to accept that I made the decision, and then bring in values. If you look at the decision that you made, is it in alignment with your values? Now, if I make a decision that was outside of my values, then I really can question that decision. Was that based on ego? Was that based on fear? What was that decision based on?
And that, I think, can bring that unease, right? I think that can create that 3 a.m. in the morning kind of unable to sleep kind of moment, which we don't want. So would it be more connecting to our values so that we make our decisions that are in alignment to that? Is that maybe a preventative way to approach it here?
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking about before you even make the decision, I often advocate for a pause. Because sometimes you can think about, if you have a fast pace of life and you haven't even had a moment to even think, sometimes you do have to make on the fly decisions, but there is always room, there is space for a pause. I'm about to make a critical decision here. And you can have, I often say, you know, those the highest values, my top 5 values is this decision that I'm about to make in line with what I value the most. If that's kindness, if that's fairness, integrity, all those different things. And you feel like, yes, it all lines up, that's my green light to go. And so if the second guessing comes up after that, you can reassure yourself, ground yourself again in the fact that when you made that decision, you made it with all of the information you had. You did the best that you could with where you were.
I love that. Because, I've had this thought in the past, previously in my own decision-making leadership type roles and personal life stuff. You could deliberate a decision till forever. There's no necessarily, you can't necessarily say, yeah, I think I've got enough information or I've thought about this enough. Sometimes I've had a few that I get stuck on. And so I really appreciate this idea of connecting with your values first, making sure the decision comes from that. And that just feels like it would bring so much clarity to the process, but also the confidence and the peace behind it once it's been made.
Yes, because it's natural. It's a thought. It may pop back up in your mind, and you may have to reassure yourself once again, no, we made a good decision based on everything that was given. And I know even just at the end of the year, I take a while to make critical decisions because it can impact not just my life, someone else's life. And I'll make certain that I feel this is the best decision, looking at it from multiple angles. So hence, when those emotions come back up, trying to make me think that I didn't make the best decision, no, I was very thorough before I made this decision, and I'm going to stand on this decision.
Oh, that feels so good. Again, kind of almost being confident in it, and regardless of what the outcome might be, because I know sometimes there are second or third layer sort of effects to our decisions that we may not have been able to anticipate. But to know again that you did your best in that moment, and then also to tie in what you're saying earlier there about we're learning as we go. We're all humans, regardless of our position, whether we're a CEO or a director or a new manager or whatever these people that are listening to Summit are, even as a parent or a person in life, this is a crucial piece. So thank you. Definitely going to take that away for myself. I'm wondering if there's anything else you want to share around that powerhouse mindset. You've talked about perhaps that full schedules and the cultivating positive energy. I wonder if you'd like to share about that.
Absolutely. So I do hear frequently, I'm feeling burned out, I'm exhausted. And so a lot of times as women, we're nurturers, we're givers, we're servant leaders. And I totally get it because I'm passionate about giving. But there comes a time when you're going to realize the way that you're working is not serving you well. And I often advocate for working with wellness in mind. How can you integrate wellness in every parts of your life? Women think that self-care means I'm going to go to the spa. Well, what if you don't have a schedule that permit you to go to the spa in the middle of the afternoon, right? Being able to take those mini breaks, as we've often heard, in mini vacations at your desk. I have all types of things at my desk. I have a little dartboard so I can play, have a little fun in between sessions. And so a part of this powerhouse mindset is keeping your mind strong, but one, being able to soothe your mind. I have a lake near my house, so I walk the dogs often in between sessions. There are so many ways that we can treat ourselves. And then I have those big treats to refresh my mind. So I've been hearing stories all week. And at the end of the week, sometimes I'll go to the beach and I'll sit there for 3 hours. And it's like I've been shot with this heavy sedated, and I'm sedated. I have so much peace, and it's like it washed my brain. Like I get a clean slate. At the end of this month, I've already booked my facial, 90-minute facial with extra massage as a reward. So a part of that building the powerhouse mindset is taking care of your mind, taking care of your entire body. That is critical. So because I've had a 7-day week, and the other piece, people want to know, how do I have all this energy? It's intermittent fasting. This is day 13 of intermittent fasting. So I do liquids throughout the day, and then between 7 and 9, that's when I do fruits, vegetables, nuts. That's my eating window. And because I'm in a new season of a lot of training, taking information in, plus my regular workload of coaching, plus interviews, you name it. And so there are times in my life that I'll go heavier on my intermittent fasting. So being able to recognize the tools that you can utilize so you can still show up as your best self, your most energetic self, and we don't have to ever burn out. I say, why burn out when you can blaze up?
Oh, I love it. And so I just like to reiterate, I guess what you're describing is having small kind of self-care pieces through the day, and then bigger ones, perhaps like you're saying, as a regeneration through the week, and then even the kind of bigger, less frequently, but maybe bigger kind of boosts like that. And I agree with you. I don't think that I'm working still at kind of finding those dips in energy through my day or my week, and just kind of finding those boosts as well. Because I agree with you. I'm tired of kind of coming down like this and having to pull myself back up. And so I've definitely found those small pieces. That's an area that I can easily add in without having to worry about going to the spa or trying. I mean, I love that, but you can't do, like you said, can't necessarily do that every day. So giving yourself those moments is great. And I agree with you that that's so important to keeping that mindset positive too, then, right? Because if we're burning out on energy, then of course we can't be our positive selves. We can't be that inspirational leader that way.
Yeah, because you think about inspirational leader, what are individuals coming to leaders for? They are looking for some type of guidance, inspiration, motivation. Let me see how she works well under pressure. They're modeling what we're doing. And I've been on the other side of burnout twice. And I said, I don't want to live my life exhausted. I remember I was giving everybody my energy, Sarah. And at the end of the day, I didn't have any for myself. And I said, we've got to redesign.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel good, right? And I believe we can feel good and have a positive impact. I don't feel like they should be exclusive of each other. And that I used to believe that. So I've changed that, and it's definitely shifted how I've showed up. So I really love that you're sharing this with us today, and really kind of giving some extra strategies and tips on how to do that. I guess that kind of brings us to our time frame, kind of where I was thinking we might wrap up. So I'm wondering if you have any final thoughts here, Kristie.
I always have a final thought. This morning when I was sitting under the hairdryer, this came to me. For all the ladies, sit pretty, speak powerfully, and seize passionately. If you only have 5 minutes to live, how are you going to start living your life?
Oh, 5 minutes. I don't know. I'm going to have to explore that, but definitely that passion piece for sure. Love it. That is beautiful. So Kristie, I'm sure people will want to find out more about you. Where can they get some more information on perhaps working with you or getting to know more about you and your message?
Visit me online, queenfidence.com, QUEENFIDENCE.com. It's like queen with a crown.
Perfect. And I'll definitely link that below the video as well, so people can just click on that. And I think you had a freebie you were wanting to share as well. Was that the self-love journal?
Yes, the self-love journal will be available for you all. Sarah will provide the link, and you can start your brand new journey of loving yourself deeply as you lead powerfully.
Perfect. And I think that's a great takeaway for people to build on what we just reviewed today, and dive deeper into that self-love piece that is so crucial to that thriving powerhouse mindset. So Kristie, it's been amazing as always. I'm sure we could chat for a whole day. But this is a great, introduction to your self-love journal, and further support that you have. I know you've got some YouTube videos. I'm going to be checking out your TEDx talk too. I should have done that before, but I look forward to exploring that as well. So thank you so much, Kristie, for being here today with us in the summit. I'm sure everybody's going to get a lot of value out of our conversation today. So thank you.
So glad. Thank you, beautiful.